Okay, hi. Welcome back to Chronically Chill.
Hello, everyone.
I'm Anna.
I'm Ellie, and if you're watching video, we're also joined by Smokey.
Yes.
It's just better if we don't fight it, because then it'll be really annoying the whole time.
He's our official mascot.
Yes, he will leave at some point, but you just kind of have to let him make that choice.
What's your drink of the episode right now?
Mio.
Mio. You have like the one with the electrolytes?
Yes, I didn't drink like any water yesterday, and I kind of have like the water ick, which is weird, but and sometimes you're just like, I don't want to drink more water, so I just needed flavor in it.
Nice. I like it.
What about you?
I did a decaf. If you're watching video, you can see my glass. It has Sprites on it from Spirited Away.
So
but I did like a decaf espresso pod. I think it's like the Alticio decaf, and then I did it with oat milk and hazelnut.
Yum.
So I'm finally getting over my last time I used oat milk, it was moldy. I don't even know if I talked about that, but
I don't know.
I went to go use oat milk. I was making all I wanted. I had such a rough day, and all I wanted was to make SpongeBob mac and cheese, like box mac and cheese. And I got home and I made the noodles, and then like I drained it, put the butter in, and then I went to go put oat milk in it, not expired, and I started pouring it, and I'm like, this is chunky, and then I look at it and it's moldy.
Ugh.
So I couldn't have oat milk for a second.
No.
I was so grossed out by it.
So disgusting.
Yeah.
Moldy and old milk is like really.
It just is a line I can't cross, you know?
Yeah.
Like I can have moldy strawberries in I didn't even ingest this oat milk, but like moldy strawberries in my fridge and then I throw away, like that doesn't give me the strawberry ick.
Yeah.
But the moldy oat milk just.
That's disgusting. One time we were at Izzy's and they were having cookies and they wanted milk, but Izzy is lactose intolerant, so they drink Lactaid. And Thompson had never had Lactaid before, so he didn't know what it was supposed to taste like. And so they all got their milk, and Thompson was the first one to drink it, and he's like, ugh, this is kind of gross. Like, is it supposed to taste like this? And they're like, oh, yeah, it's just like kind of like, it's not milk, so it's kind of gross. And then they were all drinking it, and they were like, oh, this is actually really gross. And it was like fully expired.
Oh my God.
And I don't know how much they drank, but I think Izzy had tummy troubles that night. And
drinks Lactaid to avoid stomach problems, and then gives yourself stomach problems.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
Oh.
Icky milk. Gross.
Yeah, that's something you can get over.
Do you drink, because as someone who doesn't drink coffee, for those of you who don't know, in Mormonism, you're not supposed to drink coffee or tea for whatever reason. And so I didn't grow up drinking coffee, and I just don't, because of that, it's an acquired taste. Not even gonna fight Smokey right now. Hello. It's an acquired taste, and so I never acquired the taste. So anyways, I don't drink coffee. When you drink decaf, are you like just drinking it for the taste at that point and like for the like ritual of it?
Yeah, I still was never really a coffee drinker once I got into like really when I was still drinking caffeine, like my drink of choice was like a dirty chai. So that still has coffee in it, but it's like I really was more getting it for the chai because I like the spice.
Yes.
But I think that like also is just like a difference in like our tastes, because I am someone who likes bitter. Like I like espresso, like the taste of espresso. I'm not as big of a coffee person, but when I drink coffee, I drink it black. I don't drink it with anything in it. So like I do like bitter stuff. Like I like I don't really drink anymore, but like when I was drinking, I really liked gin, and I really liked very like bitter whiskey, scotch, stuff like that. Zach and I are complete opposites. We'll go out and I'll order like a silly drink, and then he'll order something that has gin in it, and I'm like, you're not gonna like that, and then we switch drinks because he likes the more girly, I shouldn't say girly because anyone can drink something with like pineapple in it, but
right, the more fruity.
He likes
stuff.
a more fruity drink, and I like a more bitter drink. He tries. When you go to a coffee shop, what do you get? Like a tea?
I usually get a chai. Yeah, because my body doesn't do well with caffeine. Like,
yeah, I don't drink caffeine anymore.
yeah, like a Diet Coke or Mountain Dew will really just, fuck me up that night. Yeah, I get a dirty chai because my body just does not handle caffeine well. Or not a dirty chai, a regular chai. Usually with oat milk. I love, unfortunately, Starbucks chai. It was so yummy, but I don't go to Starbucks anymore for multiple reasons, because of who they are as a company, but also anything I drink from Starbucks makes me sick. Like, I've never had a drink there and felt fine after.
Well, I also feel like, I mean, this is maybe more region specific to where we live, but if you live where we live and your coffee shop of choice is still Starbucks,
yeah,
like that just to me, I'm like, have you ever stepped foot in another coffee shop before ever? Because we live in the Pacific Northwest. This is like coffee central. Zach and I literally walked to a coffee shop this morning for breakfast. There's a coffee shop like within 2 blocks of me in any direction.
Yeah.
And multiple of them. Like we could walk and get coffee every weekend and we wouldn't be done for like a year.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So it's usually a chai. I try to like coffee, but I'm not a bitter person. And actually what's funny is we did our ancestry DNA, and in it they tell you like your traits based on like your mother and your father, or like your 2 parents, and both of my parents have the trait, and so then I have the trait of not liking a bitter taste.
That's interesting.
Isn't that interesting?
That is
it
so
also
interesting.
tells you, so like it can tell you just about you, but then also like your parents separately, and like who carries what traits. And on my dad's side is the not liking the taste of cilantro, which I've known because most of the people on my dad's side don't like the taste of cilantro. I love it.
Oh, I love cilantro.
So yummy. And then on my mom's side is being able to smell asparagus, which I can't, like I smell asparagus so strong if it's around, which is very interesting.
Wow, that's so interesting. I wonder then, because I feel like I can smell asparagus, but like our moms are related, so.
Yeah.
Are
that makes sense?
Related as in sisters, so
right,
like they're not like distant. Yeah, Ellie
they're
did.
Related somehow.
They're related. They literally have the same mom. Ellie did her ancestry with Thompson, and they found out how related they are.
Yes. So me and Thompson, I can't remember if it's 13th or 11th. I think it's 11th cousins once removed. So my mom and Thompson are 11th cousins, and then my mom, or I almost said my mom and my dad. Thompson and my dad are 9th cousins. So that is so interesting. Crazy.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of Thompson's family, like going back, has some Mormon lineage. So it makes sense.
Yeah. And that's what I was saying. We were talking about this last night, is Zach's grandpa was adopted. One of his grandpas was adopted. And so like I am like, well, maybe that's what we're like. I haven't looked, but I'm like, that kind of hinders if like maybe we're related through that side, because he doesn't know any of his family that way. Yeah. And we could do genetics, but he has Mormons in his family. I'm like, we're probably related somewhere.
Yeah, somewhere.
All the Mormons are related somehow. So
yeah, we have. I'm not gonna name them just because I don't know if they want to be named, but we have 2 friends who are married, and they are 5th cousins. Which is, she was telling us last night.
Oh, yes. Okay. I was like, wait, who? Yeah. Okay.
Which is like, it's still 5th cousins, but it's like, that's
it's
a
like
little
almost
close.
too close for comfort.
Yes.
And then like if you look at her and you look at her husband, you're like, how are you like that related?
Yes.
Like I feel like what's going on there.
Right.
Yeah. But when she explained it, it made a little bit more sense. But even still, I'm like, that's crazy that you guys literally met in another country and you're 5th cousins.
Yeah. Met in another country, got back together in another country.
Yeah. Damn, that's crazy.
Anyways.
Anyway, do you have any highs and lows from the last? Oh, I mean, you had a stacked.
I know. So, yeah, let me think about my high.
That's the one we're going to have to think about.
Think about for a minute. I mean, I guess my high kind of goes with my low. We went to the East Coast last weekend for a long weekend, for a funeral, and my high was that I got to spend time with Thompson's family. And so, yeah, my high was just being able to spend time with his family and see his niece and his sister, who I love so much. And I like being on the East Coast. It's very different from over here. And that might just be specifically where I am on the East Coast and the West Coast, but I like being over there. My low. Oh, wait, no, I did talk about this. I did talk about getting.
Yes, because we recorded on the day you got it removed.
Yes.
But it looks great now.
Yes. If you're watching video, it's just a little scab right now. So, ow.
She did great.
She did do great. Shout out my PCP. So then my low is basically everything else. I don't really know what happened. I don't know if I got food poisoning. I don't know if it was the stress of travel. I don't know if it was something else that I'm just not thinking of, but I literally felt like I was dying the whole time we were on the East Coast. I was just so violently sick. We got there, so I pulled an all-nighter because our flight was at 5 a.m. and we had stayed up late packing, and I just know myself, and I know that if I just try to sleep for like 2 hours, because we needed to get up at we needed to be leaving the house at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
And it was like 10 after we started packing, and I knew it was gonna I got to get up at 2:30. It's going to take me a second to fall asleep. And so really I'd get 2 to 3 hours of sleep. And
Which
I just know
sometimes
myself,
is just almost worse than not sleeping at all. Yeah.
And if I try to do that, I'm going to wake up feeling nauseous. And I don't want to do that for my flight. Yeah. So I was like, I'm just going to pull an all-nighter. So I pulled an all-nighter, and then I slept on the plane a little bit. And then we got to North Carolina, drove the hour to Thompson's family's house, and then I had a couple work things I needed to do, and then I ate and went to bed. And I kind of didn't feel good that night, but I just was up for almost 48 hours, so I was like, whatever. And so then the next day we did our things, and then starting that night, that was Friday night, and then Friday night, that was Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday night, I was up so late, just so unwell. I'd taken Dramamine on the plane to help with vertigo and disorientation. Disorientation, is that?
Mm-hmm.
Why does that not feel right?
Being disoriented?
Yes. And then I had taken 2 Zofran on the plane because I was nauseous on the plane. So that was Thursday. Friday, I had taken 2 Zofran that night. And I think that was the night that I texted the group. And I was like, why have I taken a Dramamine, which makes you constipated, 4 Zofran in the last 48 hours, and why am I still shitting
not
my brains
constipated?
out?
Yeah.
Yes.
And you're like, and don't say it's anxiety.
Because I know that, probably my anxiety had a correlation somehow, but and then the next night was the same thing, and I have my theories on what it was. I don't know if it was something that I ate on Friday during the day, because I did have a meal that I was like, that was questionable. If it was the anxiety, or I was drinking Olipop's, which I have always noticed give me a little bit of a stomach ache, and so I don't know if it was just a combination of everything. So anyways, our trip was a great trip, and I enjoyed being there, but it was definitely hindered by the fact that I did not feel well.
Yeah.
And then all week this week, I've just been trying to catch up on sleep and work, and I've just been cranky. I had a bad day yesterday. I just did not want to make a decision and was tired and irritable. So that was my week, my high and low. Just the roller coaster of travel.
Yes. Travel's so hard. And Ellie and I have talked about it before that we are not huge travelers. We're similar in the reasons why, and also like we have our own reasons why. But I do think like a big for me is it's really hard for me to be away from my cats. A, and then B, like just coming back from travel is like almost gives me enough anxiety to like not even attempt to go. Yeah. Because then it's just like, like catching up with things and having to adjust. Like we leave in like a little over a month for Europe, and like I'm like, God, I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna have to work the next day.
I know.
In the office too.
Yes. Oh my God. That's like coming back, especially when there's a big time change and trying to readjust. Yes. Like we got home basically Monday night, Tuesday morning. We got home at like midnight on Tuesday. And I'm still, today is Sunday. I'm still like feeling so behind in work. I'm like, because I needed, like, it's this like domino effect of like, I'm behind, so I'm catching up on this, but then the next day I'm behind on what I was supposed to do the day before. Yeah. And so you just have like no opportunity to catch like I'll probably work a little bit today so I can just be caught up. Yeah, which I've done before, so I totally get that. Working off the clock to just be not stressed by Monday. So yeah. Okay, what about you? High and low? A lot of my clothes for my trip came in. I showed them to Ellie yesterday. They're all really cute. And I feel like that was like the excuse I needed. For so long I've been wanting to like revamp my closet because I feel like a lot of the things I own don't really like match up with like my personal style now. Same. And I have like things in my closet that I've had since like high school. Like, you know, like I'm not like a person who like just cycles through my clothes. Yeah. But now I've gotten to the point where it's like I've held on to all these clothes and none of them really are being worn. Yeah. So like what's the point of keeping them? And so, but like planning for this trip was kind of an excuse to buy all the things I've been wanting to buy to like update my wardrobe. And I really love all the things that I got. I think they're cool. So cute. And then, so that was exciting. And then on St. Patrick's Day, I went and got, well, I didn't get a pint, but I went with Kaylee and Mariah and they got pints and I got a non-alcoholic beer. And that was just nice. It was just nice to see them. And I just like literally the day before, bought this vintage green leather jacket. Cute. And so I got to wear it on St. Patrick's Day and it was so cute. So cute. But yeah, like that was my high. I also think I've just like been having a lot of fun with Zach, my partner. Fun. We've been having a lot of just fun lately. And then my low, I just have so many things going on. I have cellulitis in my toe. I don't even know. I didn't even talk about it last episode, but yeah, so I have cellulitis in my toe. And then I also have a lump in my breast that I'm waiting to do an ultrasound for. It's a lymph node, definitely. After I thought it was a lymph node, and then I went to my doctor and she's like, yes, it is a lymph node for sure. And she's not concerned about it, but she's like, well, we'll just ultrasound it to be sure. Yeah. And I'm like weirdly calm about it. I've had a lump in my breast before. I've had breast surgery before to remove a lump in my breast. So I don't know. It's like my second rodeo, so I'm not as freaked out, but yeah. And I think it's helpful to have like, I've known people who have lymph nodes that are just like swollen for like a year. Yeah. And like there's nothing really wrong with them. It's just like sometimes like you'll be sick and a lymph node will be swollen, but then it just stays swollen. Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see what that is. But yeah, cellulitis, I have the lump, and then I got my COVID booster, and literally the next day I was like,
am I going to make it through this? Like, the COVID boosters always take me out.
Yeah, I was going to say,
Always.
when you said that you got your booster, I was like, oh, she's going to be dead.
Yeah. Yeah, because we were going to record that day. And I was like,
Yeah.
let's just go ahead and cancel because
Yeah.
I'm not going to be available. Yeah, I luckily worked from home that next day. But usually I get a migraine. I feel like it's a little different reaction every time. Usually it's a migraine, but this time it was like my whole body ached so bad that I was like, is this what it feels like when people have like meningitis? Like my whole body hurts so bad.
Yeah.
And then I like freaked myself out because I'm like, wait, are you supposed to get a COVID booster when you're on antibiotics? Because I have been with my toe.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, I'm not going to even Google it because like I will freak myself out if it's like, yeah, don't do that. I did Google it after the fact. And yes, you can totally get a COVID shot when you're on antibiotics because it's like completely different.
Yeah.
And obviously I'm like, my doctor wouldn't have given it to me if
Right.
she didn't think. But yeah, so I just have a lot going on. And then we have a friend who's in the hospital right now, which has been really just like, I've talked about it before, but I'm just like a helper and a fixer, and it's really hard for me when there's nothing I can do. And so it's been really hard to like, I don't know, just like know that I have a friend in the hospital and I can't do anything.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's just been rough. And yeah, but my last therapy session, my therapist like really complimented me, and she was like, you've come so far and you're doing so well. And I was like, thanks, girl. So yeah, but that's pretty much my highs and lows.
So anyways, we've had interesting weeks.
We've had quite the weeks, but
Everybody's lives are falling apart around us.
everyone,
Like,
all
I
of our
don't
friends
have
are
one
down
friend
bad.
that, is doing good right now.
No.
So,
Everyone's doing bad, and then like even our friends that are doing good, all their friends are doing bad, so like they're not doing well.
right.
I just feel so bad for like everyone.
No.
Everyone right now. Oh, and I don't think it was a thing by the last episode. My friend Kylie had her baby.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think by the last episode she had her baby yet.
No,
right?
I don't think so.
Okay, my friend Kylie had her baby.
Kylie, congratulations.
He is so precious and so cute. He is just a little
so
tiny.
precious.
He was only like 6 pounds, and he has lots of hair, and he has her nose. Like he just like so looks like her. And he passed his jaundice test.
Good.
And he's just, oh my God, I just want to eat him up. She only labored for like 6 or 8 hours, and she only pushed for like 12 minutes,
Which is such a slay.
which is crazy. And she sent me her video giving birth, and I'm like, she looks like she's bored. Like she literally like, which she's like, I got an epidural, which I am so.
Oh.
The second I'm at the hospital to give birth, put that needle in my back. I'm ready for the epidural.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as a natural birth in my household. But yeah, so she just looked like so chill when she was giving birth, and I'm just so proud of her. And it was like quiet in the, I'm like, you didn't like put on, she's like, we didn't make a birth playlist. I didn't even think about it. And so there was just like quiet in there. Like it's really, really weirdly quiet. But yeah, he's just so cute and so precious. And yeah, and now she's a mama too. But I think today we wanted to talk about, which is just funny considering we're just like in our cozies, the hot girl-ification of being chronically ill, and like maintaining that. I think a lot of just like maintaining who you are when your life changes pretty drastically.
Which we've talked about, how it's been important for both of us to be Anna and Ellie, who just happened to have chronic illness, rather than the other way around.
Yeah.
The chronically ill Ellie.
Yeah, I think that's something that at the beginning of my journey, it was so hard to see how I could like maintain or like stay true to my life.
Yeah.
But then like you kind of like come out the other side and you're like, wait, like I don't have any of those things that like I was very like, that made me, or like that I was very proud of or whatever. And so I think it's important to like to still like nurture those parts of you.
Yes.
Because even if they might be so not so prevalent at that point, or like it seems unattainable at that point, you can make a return to it.
Yes, absolutely. Because, yeah, when you're new in a diagnosis, or if things are particularly horrible for a time, that is kind of like your life. Like, most of your time is spent doing your daily necessary things, going to work, sleeping, eating, whatever, and then also taking care of yourself and like spending a lot of time at appointments or in pain or whatever. And so it can feel all consuming. But then there comes a point where it isn't. And yeah, if you haven't been, as you said, nurturing those things, you kind of face a
identity crisis.
Yeah. Which can be scary in itself.
Yeah.
And I think also, like, I think about myself or you before diagnoses. And there are things that, like, I can't do or that just don't pertain to my life anymore. Which is sometimes sad. But then it's important to get to a point where, like, I'm just happy with my life right now. And I think that comes with the nurturing of the things that you can do that aren't sick involved.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think like I talked about it in our New Year episode where like one of my goals for this year was like my vibe was going to be sexy and spooky. And because I think like right before in 2020, like right before like a lot of shit hit the fan for me health wise, I was kind of coming into that, like Ellie had mentioned earlier, we were raised Mormon. And so like being sexy and like my like hotness was something I was very like out of tune with because it was so repressed growing up in that religion. And so in 2020, I was like really coming into that like point of my life of like self-confidence and like being sexy and like being a hot girl and then like immediately getting sick after that. And then now I'm like, okay, like I'm in the place where I can return to that like vibe because I was really like happy doing that, like being able to maintain that. Like I lost it a little bit, but I'm like, I can still make a return to that. And yeah, so I don't know. It's just, I get when people like really get so lost in the health of it all because I was totally there, but I wouldn't be able to get back to where I am now if I didn't like have that like belief and understanding that like it's not going to be like this forever.
Yeah, which can be hard to remember when you're in the depths of hell,
the pits of despair.
Yes. But I think, I don't want to speak for everybody, but I think the majority of people could agree that like even when you are feeling that way, there does come a point where you're not feeling that anymore. And so to have that as like a baseline of like wanting that and that desire to be like someone outside of what you're feeling, I think most people have felt that.
Yeah. Well, and I think there's, I mean, as self-proclaimed hot girls,
yes,
there's a spectrum to it. Like, and it's not just like what you see on social media. Like, we can't all be the Alex Earls of the world. And like, I don't necessarily want to be an Alex Earl.
Yeah, I think we should specify hot girl, not necessarily physicality wise.
Yes.
Hot girl mentality.
As
and
a persona.
Girl persona.
Yes. Yeah, because it's like, okay, like if I like reduce it down to like, okay, when I see a hot girl quotations on social media, like I don't party, I'm not like out until 3 a.m. clubbing, like I'm not going to these fancy dinners and getting dressed up, and I don't have the G7X, and I'm not taking like flash photos of my like you know, like I'm not doing all those like things that I would see on social media and be like, that is a social media baddie warrior. And she has her right, but that is not the only way to like zone into your hot girlness.
Yes. So how do you zone into your hot girlness?
That is a good question. Like, I think I've come to the, like, I'm a very like a person who's like I'm like either 100% like in or then I or not if I'm not 100% in, I have a hard time like staying focused, staying committed to it.
Yeah.
And so I think that was hard when I was like trying to transition back into like my hot girl persona of like you're not going to feel hot all the time.
No. I think what's really helped me is my cycle tracking because as most people who have a menstrual cycle, I feel hot in my follicular phase and I feel not in my luteal phase.
Hot or not.
And so it helps me be like, okay, yeah, like I'm not feeling great about myself right now, and it's because like my body wants to be resting and preparing for my menstrual cycle.
Yeah.
And then when I am feeling sexy, I'm like, well, yeah, because I'm about to ovulate.
Yeah.
I could be having a baby right now if I want.
I have to be the sexiest I could possibly be.
Yes.
Oh, that's funny.
So, yeah, I agree. And I also am 100% like a cozy, lazy person, just like to my core. And so sometimes I am like, oh, like I don't think in the time that we have been doing video, I don't think I've had makeup on more than like twice. And like typically that's like, okay, well if you're a hot girl, you're like wearing like makeup and you're looking cute or whatever, but like that's just not what it is for me, you know?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, kind of have to just like hold on to those like things that like make you feel good. So like I feel like I'm at my like hot girl prime. My like energy cannot be maxed out more than when I'm like taking care of myself, which is like duh. But like when I'm going to the gym and when I'm washing my face every night and when I'm you know like when I'm doing those like maintenance things that sometimes can fall to the wayside because you feel like shit, like but I feel so good just mentally about myself when I do those things that are taking care of myself.
I agree. Gym and working out is not a part of my routine in the way that I wish it was, but just sticking to a routine of waking up at a set time, doing my daily things, just all of my routine things that I like to do. I agree. That's when I feel like I feel in control. And I feel like feeling in control is a large thing for me to feel like I'm like in my prime. Like,
yeah. Something that also helps me is, and Ellie, you have talked about this before, is just like romanticizing things in an appropriate way. So like, yeah, like I don't drink caffeine, but I still have my decaf pods because like sometimes the like aesthetic of having a little coffee and like making your coffee and like doing that little thing, like I'm like, oh, like this is the life I want to live. Like I want to wake up and I want to have my little coffee in my little cup and like all this stuff. So like, and that's why every once in a while, like I love making a morning in my life or like a whatever, like filming it, because like I'm not really filming it because I'm like, wow, this is gonna get the views. It won't.
This is gonna change lives.
But I'm like, oh, like filming, this is maybe random, maybe if you like need a little boost, but like filming my morning or whatever and then making a video of it like forces me to be aesthetic. Yes. And I love when things are aesthetic. I'm a Libra. Yes. Aesthetic is like the thing for me. Yes. So like anything aesthetic, romanticizing, whatever helps me like I feel like more in tune with like who I want to be and who like I believe that I am. Yeah.
Yeah, that advice that Emmy gave me a very long time ago I was having an actual like mental breakdown and she told me to romanticize it. But I literally carry that with me because like through everything, because it is so true that like sometimes you really can just get stuck in how mundane a routine can be or whatever. But yeah, when you romanticize it, when you make it aesthetic, when you like literally this morning I rolled out of bed to get ready to hop on here and I'm like, I'm gonna like be really intentional about my routine this morning. It was literally just like moisturizing my face and like putting stuff in my hair, but I'm like, I'm just gonna be so mentally present right now. And I was like, this is what like, yeah, I'm taking care of myself. I'm like, you know, I am that bitch.
Exactly.
Because I'm moisturizing my face.
Well, And that's taking care of yourself. And that's like staying true to like your values of like what is important to you.
Yes.
Yeah. And like this morning, Zach and I, like, last night I was like, do you want to go get breakfast burritos in the morning? He's like, yeah. And so we like walked to that coffee shop and got breakfast burritos, and like I'm like, this is the life I want to live.
Yes.
And I'm doing a disservice to myself when I like don't like fit these things into my day, because then by doing these things that like are fit into the lifestyle that I would want to have, like then I feel like unfulfilled.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Like even like when I like want to read my book,
yes,
I'm like, okay, let me set up a little cozy spot on the couch or in my bed and light a candle and grab a little drink, and then I'm like, oh my god, I feel so good right now.
It's such a vibe. That's gonna be me after we're done recording, because I want to read my little hockey book. But, like, and I feel like even then, like when I was having more pain than I'm having now, like things that you can do to like romanticize whatever you're in, like, okay, get a bunch of Epsom salts for your bath. And like I have like waterproof, like flameless, they're in my bookshelf now, candles that I would bring in my bath, and I would just have no lights on, and I would do my little candles instead. Or like, I think like something that helps me be like mindful, I feel like, and like tapped in, is putting on a record, because then it's like you're not you can't skip anything.
Yes,
you have to listen all the way through.
You're disconnected from your phone,
right? You don't have to like skip through your music. And so like I think that's something too that like helps you be intentional or romanticize things. So I think there's a way to like fit whatever stage you're at in your health journey or diagnosis journey or whatever, like fit that into your life.
And then there are also just like the stereotypical hot girl things that we do, like get cute and go take pictures with our friends.
Yes, it's our favorite activity.
Get cute and go get a little drink somewhere.
Go dancing.
Yeah, which those are valid things too.
Yeah, and Ellie sent a TikTok the other day, which is so funny because I had seen it and I was like, this is so Ellie. And then she sent it and I was like, this is so Ellie. Where it's like, do you want to go like get dressed up and take cute pictures? And she's like, yeah. And then she's like, and then we can go to all the bars afterward. And it's like, no. Like, I just want to get dressed up and be cute and take pictures. Yeah. But then I also want to go home and be in bed by like 11.
Literally, when we were leaving your house last night and we were driving, I said to Emmy, I was like, you know, it's Saturday night and we're in downtown Portland. And I'm like, just looking at all these people that are like out and about right now, I'm so glad I'm not doing that. I'm so glad I'm going home right now to go to bed.
Yes. Oh my gosh. When was it? On the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, when we went out, we didn't even stay out that late. And then we were driving home. Zach and I were driving home. Well, we were going to Taco Bell and then we were going home. But the line outside of Marathon was like so long.
Yeah.
And I was like, it is already midnight. Like, why are we out?
Yeah,
go to
waiting
bed
in line to go somewhere.
To get into a bar. And it's the night before Thanksgiving and it's freezing outside. Yeah, I can't relate. And so I think that like your hot girlness is like how you define it. Because we are not out at, we are not at the club.
Yeah. I just think both of us feel it's so important to have. And even if you don't feel like a hot girl, if you feel like I don't know, what are the other options?
A rat girl?
A rat girl. Whatever you feel, that I think it's just important to both me and Anna that there is a you outside of your health. Yeah. Because like we were saying earlier, there most likely will come a point where your pain and your health is not the center of your world anymore. And it can be hard to transition if you don't have.
Yeah, like, oh shit.
Yeah.
What do I like?
Yeah. I mean, there are...
Say it. I'm sure the people you don't want to hear it don't even listen.
There are people who, like, being sick is their personality.
Well, I get what you're saying. It's like things get tied into their health, so it's hard to see outside of what's going on.
Yeah.
Like, and I can absolutely be like, I have been in that space of like, I can't, my illness is my personality right now.
Yeah.
And I can look back at that and be like, I understand why I was in that headspace, but also at the same time, God, I'm so glad I'm not there anymore.
Yeah.
Within like, because I mean, my symptoms haven't really changed that much. I mean, like there are under like, I have better control over them, whether that's through medication or lifestyle changes or whatever. But I just feel like I had such a hard time, and this is me speaking personally, I'm not saying this is anyone else's experience, but I had such a hard time being in that mindset because I felt like such the victim in that like time of my life. And that's not like I don't know, it just felt like everyone was out to get me and no one understood me and like all this stuff. I was just, because I was in such a bad mind space and like I was adjusting to a new diagnosis, but then everyone else around me was also adjusting to that. And so then I'm like, why can't people just make every accommodation possible for me because I'm going through such a hard time right now? And now that I'm on the other side of that, like I'm able to be like, oh my God, girl.
Well, it's also exhausting.
Yeah, it's exhausting to feel like that.
You don't realize when you're in that space how exhausting it really is. To constantly be
upset with like the actions of others.
Yes. Yeah.
Based on your thing that you've decided to make everyone's problem.
Yes.
That was, you guys, that was me. Like it was me.
Well,
like,
I'm not agreeing that it was you, but
no, but like that's just like I went through that.
Yeah.
And
I think that's
good
normal when you're first, because you're so confused, upset, lost.
Your life has changed.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know what to do, but why isn't anybody helping me?
Exactly. It was like, hello.
Yeah.
Is this thing on? Like, I definitely was in that headspace. And like, now I'm on the other side. I can understand why I was in that headspace. But I wish I had someone telling me this, what I'm saying right now. Of like,
I think
it gets better. So this is not forever.
Yeah. And I think we can all, anybody here can think about a person that you know, or maybe you don't know, but you witness somehow, who is constantly the victim, and how exhausting and sad it is. Yeah. And I think sometimes witnessing that can then put you in a space of like, oh, I was that one time.
Yeah.
And I don't ever want to be that again.
Yeah, I see it and I'm like, ooh, like I know you're doing this because you're going through it.
Yeah.
Like I know why you're doing it, but like it's not going to get you anywhere. Like it's not going to help your recovery. It's not going to help you build community. It's not going to help you with anything really.
Yeah.
It's just not productive of a state to be in. And not saying like every state of your life has to be productive, but I don't know, like when you're just in that spot, it's just hard to feel like the victim of every situation and that no one cares and but you're right, we all have those people in our life now that we're like, girl, stand up,
literally
and open your eyes. Like people aren't out to get you.
Yes. So what do you feel like when you were first coming back into yourself, what do you feel like what were your go-tos? Like what were you relying on to like pull yourself outside of that? Like for me, my routine. And like I was saying earlier, there are things that like I enjoy doing that I just can't really do now. And so I think like trying new things was exciting for me. And going back to like, I read a ton in middle school and then I didn't throughout like high school and like my early 20s. And then like going back to old hobbies was really fun for me.
Mm-hmm.
And seeing if I still liked them.
Yeah, I feel like for me, a lot of it was listening to not sad music anymore. Like I was listening to so much sad music, and so then like, and I've made like a sexy playlist on my Spotify, and I'm like, okay, like when I need to get into that energy, like I'll listen to this. But I'm like a person who, our friend Kaylee is really similar, because her and I have talked about this. I make a lot of rules. Like I'm a like rule person. And so I felt like when I was like coming back into like, okay, like who am I was very like, okay, like before everything, I had a friend say to me, she's like, you are always put together. Like when you leave the house, you are put together. And I was like, okay, well, that is mostly due to my mother. But then when I was like super sick, I was like not taking care of myself. And so like, well, I was like my health wise, but like, you know, physically, externally, emotionally, you know, I wasn't taking care of myself. And so then when I was like, okay, like I gotta get my shit together, because I just basically wallowed in like a victim pool for like a year. I was like, okay, like if I'm gonna leave the house, either hair needs to be done or makeup needs to be done. One of the two needs to be done.
I love that.
And so, because then I feel like getting yourself ready just is such an act of self-care.
Yes.
That I just felt like so much better, that I just wasn't like just, you know, brushing my teeth, putting in my contacts, leaving the house.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
And not to say I do that all the time. I definitely don't. But like, I felt like that helped me get back into that routine of like, okay, get ready before like you leave the house.
Yeah. Yeah. For me, and this might be kind of gross to admit, but it's also destigmatize this. Because it's common for people who are super depressed, like just doing like daily hygiene things.
Oh my God,
I really struggled with brushing my teeth, specifically at night before bed. I always brush my teeth in the morning because I feel
because it tastes gross. Yeah.
Yes. Furry teeth. I hate the furry teeth feeling. But I struggled for a while with brushing my teeth before bed. And like even just doing that, like it felt really hard, but it was such a simple thing to like kick me into gear a little bit.
Yeah. That's how I feel about, I mean, same with the depression. Daily showers.
Yeah.
Because like I could take a bath every day, but you know what? I don't feel clean after a bath. Yes. I love a bath because it is warm, it's great for pain, and it's good for relaxing. But there was definitely a point in my life that I was not taking a shower every day.
Yes.
And now I'm like, when I take a shower every day, that's when I feel so much better about myself.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. So. It is like a routine.
Yeah.
And like I love finding like a signature smell and buying like the body wash that smells like that, and then also the lotion. And then you feel really put together.
Lotion,
the perfume, the scrub,
the lip scrub.
Yeah. I love sticky dates right now. I feel like sticky dates is like my new winter time. And then my summer is the hair brand Way. They have their St. Bart's smell, and they have a lotion and a body wash and a perfume. And it literally smells like if you were on a vacation and you were wearing sunscreen, but like you were drinking like a pina colada. Or something, because you know it has like that good sunscreen smell, but not like the gross sunscreen smell. But then it also is like pineapple, coconutty, and it just smells like summer. It's so good.
Fun.
So, anyways, finding little ways to spice up what might be a boring routine. What might feel like a boring routine.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, really, this is a challenge to everybody here to tap into your hot girl.
In whatever way you define that.
Yes.
Yeah. Because I feel like you're right, like getting back into reading, tuning back into your hobbies makes me feel so good.
Yes.
Like, and doing that because I want to do it, like reading or playing The Sims or, you know, going for a walk. And I definitely get, like, I have ADHD, so I totally get that, like, decision paralysis, or like when you have so much to do that you just do nothing, or like you have so many things you want to do so you just do nothing. And one thing that I've really liked, and I just need to be better about, I have it on my phone but I need to print it out, is Kaylee and Mariah made these, we talked about it at an event that I went to that you weren't there, but they're called dopamine menus. And
cute.
you do, like, let me pull it up and I can like show you guys, but I feel like a dopamine menu would be such a good
tool
thing to make. Yeah, so my dopamine menu, it's like the first category I have is 5 to 15 minutes. So one of them is brew and make a latte. And then my second was like dance to a throwback. And then my third was yoga with Adrian. And then for 15 to 60 minutes, I did New York Times crossword puzzle, a mindfulness walk, or scrapbooking. And then I did one that I did like a simultaneous, like doing two things at a time. And so one was like read and listen to lo-fi, or journal and put on a vinyl, or organize and listen to a podcast. And then my last category I did with friends. So I did cooking a new recipe, share your like recent like Pinterest boards or whatever, and then a coffee catch up. So I feel like having those options where you're like, God, there's so much I could be doing right now. You can take a look at that and be like, okay, what's going to bring me dopamine and what do I have time for?
Yeah.
And I feel like that's a good like thing to have.
I love
to
that.
be able to reference. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, slay. Everybody make a dopamine menu.
I'll put it on our story so you guys can see it. But yeah,
share
I think
it with
they're
us.
so fun.
Yeah.
They're very fun.
Cute. Yeah. I feel like I don't have ADHD, but I also do get decision fatigue really, really bad. And there's so many things that I want to do that I don't do.
Yeah. There's so many things I want to do that I just don't.
Like, I have the time, but I don't know how to make the time.
Yeah. And it's funny, then you do it and then you're like, wait, I have way more. Like when I was like, I can't go to the gym, I don't have time. Yeah. And I go to the gym and I get home and I'm like, wow, I actually have a lot of time.
Yes. That is me with house chores. I'm like, like doing the dishes. I don't know why to me the dishes are going to take 30 minutes.
They take 10.
Like, if even. I'm literally like, yeah. So I think I like that idea.
Yeah. It gives you just a little like something. Like, I love doing the New York Times crossword. I pay for like the subscription so that I can do the big one. And I've been like off my game lately, but I feel like, and then I like go and try to do it, and I'm like, oh my God, this is so hard because I just haven't been doing it.
Yeah.
And so I'm not in like the practice of it. So I'm like, I need to just like set aside time to do the New York Times crossword, and it'll make me feel good. My next thing I want to work on is like actually giving myself enough time to get ready before work and not like rushing, because then I feel rushed and freaky in the morning. So yeah.
I'm so bad about getting up at a decent time for work.
I know, but I feel so much better when I like give myself all that time and like even have time to just like sit for a second. Yeah. So anything else?
No.
All right.
That's all for now, folks.
Yeah, and we're late this week. If you saw in the story, I had to go to urgent care for the second round of cellulitis treatment.
I'm dead.
Ellie died.
Mentally, physically.
Well, we were like, let's record tonight. And then I'm like, well, I got to go to urgent care first. And then Ellie's like, well, I got a last minute meeting added to my calendar at 7. Yeah. And so I was like, let's just not record. And
then we were going to record yesterday. And then I was having a bad day.
Yeah.
So here we are.
And here we are. But no big deal.
We'll be back on track next week.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Well, make sure you subscribe, like, comment, follow, everything on all the things. Oh shoot, I don't have a question for this week. I guess my question of this week is like, what is one thing that you can make steps towards that will make you feel tapped into your girlness?
It feels like the end of therapy.
Yes. This
when
is
my therapist is like, what is
homework
what
that
can
I'm
you
getting.
do this week?
Yes.
Yes.
But yeah, that's when we haven't been making posts for our episodes, but I'll make a Instagram post for our episode, and I'll put the question, what's one thing you can do this week to tap into your hot girl energy?
Love.
Hot girl gay they energy.
Yes.
We are not all girls, but
Hottie. Just
your
hottie
energy. All right, well, we will see you guys next week. Any last question, comments, or concerns?
No.
Okay. Well, have a good rest of your day, you guys, and we'll see you later.
Bye, guys.
Bye.